Hi, Guy. This is Nina. So, thank you for dedicating your time to
Hey.
this process. As discussed, I will be popping up few questions and would appreciate if you can go through it one by one and let us know
Okay.
which one we can talk about. Okay. So,
Sure.
number one is why Duke Energy? Can you tell us
Yeah.
why you're interested
Sure.
in this role?
One of the things, I mean, as a UX designer, much what I do. That's one of the things that I'm huge on, like puzzles and those types of things. And one of the other things that I like to do with that ultimately is help people, right? Make experiences better, make lives better. And doing a bit of research, I'm really excited about some of the things that Duke Energy is actually doing outside of their company. The efforts that they're using in the community and stuff, huge marks for me in that area. So I'm a big fan of the way that Duke Energy presents and bolsters their community, not just in terms of supplying power and energy, but also helping their community out through the different efforts of their, what do you call those? The different events where you hold up to help those different communities. So super excited about that. That's one of the things that really pulled me toward that because I'm a big advocate of doing things in the community.
All right, let's move to the second one. So,
Mhm.
what's your design superpower?
My superpower. I think I kind of pride myself on my level of empathy to be able to put myself in the shoes of the user and the people that are going to be using the different aspects. That way, so I can actually be the voice of the user, use their mindset to create something that's not only useful but also valuable for the. So I kind of count that as a superpower for me in that aspect.
Thank you. So, what's your approach to building trust with a new client or team?
I'm a huge fan of collaboration. Collaboration is one of my biggest things. Collaboration, communication, those types of aspects to me are pinnacle and doing things that will be of value for both the company as well as the user. So I'm huge on that level of collaboration, and to me, that also bolsters and builds up for that team. So having great levels of communication and collaboration, I think, is going to be that aspect of doing so. So yeah, I like to start that off. Let's have some meetings. Let's get to talk to each other. Let's know the lay of the land and get to know the people in the room. That way we can, create something great. So I think that's one of the approaches that I like to build that trust. Because I mean, if you have that level of communication, there won't be that level of doubt. And if you don't have any doubt, you have an increased level of trust. So yeah, huge fan of that.
Thank you. And the next one is uh, would you like to describe an innovation you helped create that you are proud of?
Yeah. One of my previous companies I worked with was Aviana Healthcare, and Aviana Healthcare is a company that places nurses in homes with either really sick or terminally ill children, and it was a very, very admirable position in itself as for those nurses. And I was brought onto the team to well, the initial ask was they wanted to be placed number one in home health care. They wanted to be number one. I think it was currently ranked like I think it was like 42 or something like that out of the nation of thousands, which is still a great number in itself. But yeah, we created a very good work environment for the nurse. First got in there, I decided to work with the business analyst and get a end-to-end report on from the creating of the acquisition, like the need of having a nurse in a home, and all the way to the fruition. And one of the things that I noted was there's a huge need for nurses. There's a huge pile of nurses that apply for those positions. There was a large number of nurses that for those positions, but there was almost a 50% drop off day one of that his experience. And I'm like, whoa, this seems like this is to me the pain point and the bottleneck because we went from a huge number to like 50% drop off. So I was able to speak with nurses that, stayed on in accepted positions. And I was actually lucky enough to get conversations and be able to conduct around the research with the nurses that decided to leave their posts. And the big overall resounding thing was that at that point in time, Aviana was 98% on. So that meant I had to carry around these big tubs with all of these records and clock in and clock out forms. And they also had to carry a machine inside of those plastic containers with all of those other paperwork and stuff. And that was a huge turnoff for those nurses. That's one of the main reasons why they decided to leave. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna attack this. So we went from taking Aviana from 98% on paper to being 99% digital by creating a mobile app for the nurses to be able to clock in and clock out through a mobile app. We also use location with that, so it's almost a hand-free experience for the nurses to be able to clock in and clock out. We also have a way for nurses to be able to see open positions. We can actually couple that with the Waze platform, so they can see turn by turn direction and actually see uh, uh, patients that need their service that may be even closer to their home. We had a couple of nurses that would travel an hour and a half sometimes to be able to work with certain patients when there could have been an instance where there's a patient in the exact same neighborhood where they live that needed their specified care. So we allowed the nurses to, like I say, clock in and clock out, almost hands free, apply for open positions. We also created a way to have the office be able to communicate directly to the nurse because, like I say, they were 90% on paper. So they used the Rolodex to be able to communicate to the nurses about open positions. So Amy Adams, her phone would be ringing off the hook, but poor Zora down at the end of the list never got a phone call. So we actually had to be able to communicate directly with the office managers and the offices to the nurses about open positions. Created a direct message as well for the nurses, so they wouldn't have one of those pain points that some of the nurses felt siloed, so they didn't have communication as well with some of the other nurses. So we created a nurse profiling platform so they can communicate directly with one another. And it was great. It was a great experience from that, where they went from, I think it was like number 44 to, I think it was number 13 at the end of my contract. I mean, it was a great experience. And my main thing was to help these nurses, help these the patients, which were the terminally ill or really sick children, to be able to supply them with the best care possible. That way, all of those hoops that the nurse through with operating all those paper documents were removed, so they could supply better care for the children that really needed their help. So that was one of the things I was really proud of working on.
Thanks, Guy, for your time and providing and sharing your expectations with us. Let me just hit the stop button.